Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Magick Revolution podcast. Although, in this case, I guess it is a video cast, isn't it? What do they call those? Vlogs? Um, this has been a hard week. A lot of heavy stuff has been happening. So, thank you for bearing with me. There's a lot to go over, a lot of things I want to talk about, and I'm honestly not even sure where to start at. But I guess I'll start with the stuff going on in Arkansas. I've received hundreds, literally hundreds of messages from people, messages, emails, you name it. I'm getting it from people who have seen this cop in Arkansas who is auctioning off my old journals and letters and photographs that he got out of a storage shed in Arkansas. He's basically dumpster diving. And now he's auctioning off things that are really significant to me. He's got two of my journals. He's got letters that Lori and I wrote back and forth while I was in prison. Some of my artwork. And yes, I'm aware of it. For everyone who's been contacting me about it, I'm aware of it. And I just want to clarify, this guy says that he tried to contact us to see if we wanted anything, or, he's lying. This man never, ever contacted us. Ever. I didn't even know what was going on until I saw news footage about it. The local news, which, that's a odd thing in and of itself. Why the hell is this even news? But this guy, they're reporting about it on the news, and that's the first time I heard about it. So I contact this guy. He gives his email because he's trying to auction this stuff off. So he gives the news his email saying, if you're interested in buying some of this stuff, you can email him, contact him. So I contacted him, and so did Lori. We both sent him an email saying, most of this stuff we don't care about, doesn't mean anything to us, but we would like to have my two journals back because you can't publish them. I mean, that's illegal. You can't publish someone else's writing. But we were very cordial, very polite. And this guy wrote back a incredibly abusive and socially inept email that was barely even literate. We had to sit there and try to figure out what he was even trying to say because it was so badly written. But it was incredibly abusive, insulting, hostile. So not only is he lying about trying to reach out and contact us, it was an absolute lie, which, the guy's a cop, so there you go. But it's disheartening. Things like that are disheartening. So that's one of the things I've been having to deal with. Another thing is, I have two cats that I've rescued that I love dearly. One of them I found in a garbage can here in Harlem about 2 years ago. She was almost starved to death. She was right next door to dead. And I brought her home and nursed her back to health. But she's had a really hard life. And I love her dearly, and she loves me dearly. And I always say, and this is not a joke, I say, we saved each other's lives. Last year was really, really hard for me. It was really dark for me. Maybe one of the darkest years of my life. And a lot of it was just having to do with, coming out of prison, coming off death row after almost 20 years and being in a state of extreme shock and trauma to the point that I could barely function. And then trying to figure out how to operate in a world out here. And it's been devastating, to be honest. It's been incredibly devastating. You know, Lori and I, in a lot of ways, we didn't know, we were in shock, we were in trauma, and we were doing everything we could to survive, and we got taken advantage of quite a few times by, just things I don't even want to go into. But it was hard. And I think I started to crack. And finding this kitten, this baby, and that's what I named her. I named her Baby, the first one. She was a source of security for me, a source of comfort. She would lay on my chest, and we would keep each other company for hours at a time. But like I said, she lived on the street. She was malnourished to the point of death whenever I found her. She was eating out of the garbage, anything she could find just to live. And it rotted her teeth out. So I took her to the vet recently, and they said she was in a lot of pain, and they needed to do a lot of dental procedures on her, and they didn't even know the full extent of it. They didn't even know how hard it was going to be until last night when they actually went in to do surgery on her, and they said they had to cut out 7 of her teeth because she was in extreme pain. They were so rotten. They cut out 7 of her teeth, and they had to file her jawbone down and give her stitches in her mouth. And she's in she's miserable right now. She's still at the vet healing, and I get to bring her home today. This afternoon I go to pick her up in a few hours. But whenever I do, now I have to take the other kitten in. I don't know what's wrong with her. All I know is she is vomiting and she will not eat a bite. And she's also another, hard luck story. I have a friend, strangely enough, who is a cop here in New York. And one day they served a search warrant on a crack house. And there were several cats in the crack house after they cleaned it out, cleared it out. There was a cat in there kept by a crackhead, and they couldn't just leave it in there. It would have starved to death. They were shutting this crack house down, and this cat was going to have, nobody taking care of it. It's going to be in an abandoned building. So he contacts me and he says, is there any chance that you could possibly, take this cat in and take care of it? And I said, sure, I'll take her. So I have one cat that I rescued from a garbage can and one cat that was rescued from a crack house. Well, she stopped eating, she started vomiting, so I'm having to take her in today as an emergency vet visit. And all in all, these vet bills are going to cost about $4,000 to take care of these kittens. That's for me at least, that's a big chunk of change. That's a lot of money. And you guys have helped me take care of these babies now, take care of these kittens with your support on Patreon. That's what my first month's Patreon money is going for, saving my rescue kittens. So thank you guys so much for that. I mean, that's a huge, huge thing. These cats are a huge, valuable, they're a big chunk of my life. A big chunk of my life and a big chunk of my mental health. So thank you. Thank you for helping me take care of them. I want to start doing these podcasts, and here's the thing. I'm getting so many questions from people that I can't answer them all. So many messages just on Patreon, not even talking about other forms of social media. I hate social media. I rarely ever address anyone on regular social media like Facebook or Instagram or any of that, just because there's so many weirdos and crazy people that, I mean, you wouldn't believe some of the horror stories of social media. I despise it. And it also seems like social media is pointless. Most people are on there just sort of floundering around, posting pictures of whatever grilled cheese they had for lunch or whatever it is. And I'm not a big believer in wasting time. Life is short. Life is very short. I mean, for me, 20 years went by like that. I mean, I'll be 43 years old soon. And it seems like just yesterday that I was 7. 7 years old. Time's flown by. So, I'm trying to make up for a lot of lost time, a lot of life. So I don't spend a lot of time on regular social media. But that's why I like Patreon, is because it's actually, there's a point to it. It's about sharing your work with people who appreciate it and who care about it. But I'm getting a ton of messages from people on here now that I can't respond to all of them. If I did, I wouldn't even have time to do a podcast or anything else. It would all just be answering, random messages all day. So what I'm going to start doing is compiling them all and keeping them as topics to do videos on. That way not only does one person, get an answer, but everybody gets to hear it. Everybody gets to hopefully benefit from it if it's something beneficial in some sort of way. But I thought maybe start with something really simple. Like someone wrote and they asked me about my exercise routine. And exercise is a big part of my life too. Working out is what it keeps me straight. It regulates your body's chemicals and hormones, and it makes you feel better. If you don't exercise, you feel like crap a lot. And I don't think most people who don't exercise, they don't realize how bad they feel until they do get used to taking care of themselves and exercising and eating right, things like that. But my exercise routine is even pretty extreme, I think, for what most people would want to do. I probably work out at least 2 hours a day, sometimes even more than that. I'll usually start with an hour of weights in the morning. I have my own weights here at home, and I'll work out with those for about an hour. A lot of dumbbell presses, not big weights. I usually, when I'm doing a bench press, I rarely ever go over 100 pounds. But with 100 pounds, I might do 200 reps. After I finish my weights, then I go to the gym and I do the elliptical machine for an hour a day. I used to run. I used to love running. I used to go down to the Hudson bike path. It's right by the Hudson River. And you can run pretty much all the way around the island of Manhattan on this bike path, and it's beautiful. There's so many boats and skate parks and tennis courts and everything you can imagine out there to look at and keep you entertained while you're running. But my joints can't really take it anymore. Like I said, I'm almost 43. A lot of wear and tear on my body due to, 20 years in prison and bad nutrition and sleeping on concrete and, having the shit beat out of me multiple times. So I had to stop running, and now I do the elliptical machine, and I'll go to the gym and I'll do the elliptical machine for about an hour a day. And in that hour, I burn about 1,000 calories. So that's a little bit extreme, but for me now it's normal just because I've been doing it for years. I've been doing it pretty much ever since I got out for the most part. But I go through phases of love and hate. Sometimes I love working out, sometimes I hate it. But even when I hate it, I force myself to go through the motions because the stronger your body is, the healthier your body is, the stronger and healthier your energy system is going to be. And the stronger and healthier your energy system is, the stronger your magic is going to be. Everything is interlinked, interconnected, relies on everything else. So I'm still not positive that I can post videos that are longer than 15 minutes yet. I'm going to give it a try soon, but I'm going to shut this one off here at 15 minutes and just say thank you guys for joining me for another episode of the Magick Revolution podcast, videocast, whatever we're going to call this. Thank you for helping me take care of my kittens. Thank you for caring about magic. And thank you for just hanging out here with me. This is really making my day right now, being able to interact with you guys like this. I'm absolutely loving it. I love you guys, and I will talk to you again very soon.